So you've set some goals this year. Let's say you want to get an A in a specific class. You want to pass the APUSH AP exam. You want to repair a friendship that is broken or breaking. You want to make some new friends. You want to join some kind of leadership position or take on some kind of leadership role. You want to begin your personal essay for your college applications now instead of waiting until November. Great goals, all of them. But a goal without a plan is just a wish. I love that line from that French novel, The Little Prince, even though, not gonna lie, I have not read that book. But it's still a great line. A goal without a plan is just a wish. The question is how? How do you back a well-intentioned goal with a solid plan so that you can do everything possible to achieve your goals? That's the topic of this video for students like you who are trying to lead yourself and your life well so that you can lead others well and you can find and fulfill the mission of your life. So let's jump into the S.M.A.R.T.E.R goal setting framework right now. The S.M.A.R.T.E.R framework is from a book by Michael Hyatt called Your Best Year Ever. And I am going to quickly walk you through each letter of the acronym S.M.A.R.T.E.R to tell you how you can put a good plan into place to achieve your goals. I just walked the students in my Leadership Mastermind class through this framework last weekend using this worksheet that I created for them. Excuse the boba stain. But if you want a copy of this worksheet to use yourself at home, just email me, brenda@weleadthis.com, and I will send you this worksheet. Okay, the S in S.M.A.R.T.E.R is for specific. Let's say your goal is to make more friends this year. Great goal, but too vague. Too general. The S is going to challenge you in putting a plan behind your goal. Where do you want to make these friends? There are friends at school. There are friends at church. There are friends in the youth group at church. There are friends on your sports team, on your orchestra, band, choir, your neighborhood. There are so many different options for making more friends. Where are you going to focus your efforts? So the S is going to force you to focus. Where are you going to direct your efforts this year? If you think of the bullseye of a target, the bullseye is what you're aiming for. That is where you are going to point your arrow and shoot in that direction. So if you don't have a narrow enough focused goal, then you're just going to shoot arrows into the air, right? Talk to anybody and everybody everywhere and hope that one of them or two of them are going to become actual friends. Sure, that might happen, but a more intentional, personal-led effort is to choose the place that you want to start. Or maybe your goal is, I want to improve my grades or raise my GPA. Good goals, too vague. Ask yourself, which classes do I want to focus on? Which classes do I want to direct my academic efforts this year? Maybe it's, I want to improve my grade in Spanish 2. Maybe I want to improve my grade in AP US History or Honors Biology. If you can get specific, then your mind and your attention directs toward that specific class, those specific classes, and you will be more conscientious toward those classes. The M in S.M.A.R.T.E.R is for measurable. This challenges you to put some measurements in the plan as you work toward your goal. What this looks like is making your goal quantifiable so that you can track your progress as you work toward your goal. For example, I will make friends at school becomes I will make 2 friends this semester at school. I will improve my grades means I will raise my B+ to an A- in Spanish 2. If your goal is to spend more time with God, and I'm so encouraged that a lot of my students are setting that as their first semester goal this school year, That becomes, I will read my Bible 3 days a week. You can get even more specific by saying, I will read one chapter in the book of John 3 days a week. You see how that is much more aimable than just, I will spend more time with God. The A in SMART-E-R is for actionable. This one's really important and really fun because action is everything when it comes to achieving a goal, right? You're gonna have to take action. And so when you are making your goal smarter, pick some concrete action verbs. Sorry, gotta bring in the grammar here, but pick words that you can actually act on. So instead of I will make 2 friends at school, it becomes I will talk to 2 friends at lunch. I will text 2 friends after school. Talk and text are action verbs. They're something you can do. The goal of spending more time with God becomes I will read 1 chapter of the book of John every day. Or I will pray 3 times a week before bed. Or I will go to youth group once a month. Action verbs challenge you to make sure that you are doing what you said you want to do. Because if you don't make your goal actionable, then they're always going to just stay in the realm of an idea, something you're thinking about, something you're talking about, but you're not actually doing. And that is not going to get you anywhere. Now, one thing that is super important about these actions that you take toward a goal is to make sure that they are easy, that they are tiny, simple, and quick. Because what happens if they are not easy and simple and quick is overwhelm. And then when you feel overwhelmed, you don't do the action, and then you're stuck. So James Clear in his book, Atomic Habits, says take 1% actions on a consistent basis. When it comes to goal setting and really habit building, you have to stay consistent. Consistency is more important than intensity. Consistency is more efficient than intensity. If you get too intense too early in the process, what happens is most people burn out. You want to pace yourself. You want to incrementally increase the tiny actions in the process. So what starts off as text 1 person once a week becomes text that person twice a week, and then 3 times a week, and then 4 times a week. Or the example of spending more time with God. It can start as reading 2 verses 2 days a week, and then reading 4 verses 2 days a week, and then 6 verses 2 days a week. Or you can increase the number of days. I will read 2 verses 3 times a week, and then 2 verses 4 times a week, and then 2 verses 5 times a week. The idea is to pace yourself and increase your actions incrementally, gradually, and not to go too hard too fast so that you burn out. One idea that I found very helpful that I want to share with you right now is that when you are achieving a goal, you are really building the habits that will result in that goal. And so habit building is foundational to goal setting. And when you want to, let's say, get an A in APUSH, that means you have to build the habit of reading for that class and reviewing the notes for that class and making flashcards for that class. Those are all concrete actions that will lead to an improved grade in AP US History. A friendship is accomplished 1 action at a time, 1 conversation at a time, 1 text at a time, 1 meal at a time, one social gathering at a time. Those actions, those habits of investing time and taking initiative to connect will result in the larger goal of making a new friend. A final example, the goal of having a deeper relationship with God is accomplished with one prayer at a time, one devotional at a time, one attendance at church at a time. Those added up, compounded over time, will result in a deeper understanding of God and therefore a deeper relationship with God and love for God. Okay, the R in SMART-ER is for risky. In SMART goals, the R is for relevant, and that R will be at the end of SMART-ER. This R is for risky. A good goal will both pull you toward it and push you out of your comfort zone. That's not from Michael Hyatt. That's something I came up with. But does your goal both pull you toward it and push you uncomfortably out of your comfort zone? If it does, then this is a goal that once achieved is actually going to be worthwhile. All the work is going to be worthwhile. A risky goal will challenge your limiting beliefs about yourself. A limiting belief is basically a negative mindset that challenges what you are capable of doing. And so a risky goal is going to almost force you to believe in yourself and challenge you to believe in yourself. So what is this goal risking? What might this goal cost you? Why is it risky? So for example, what's risky about making new friends? Why is making new friends a good and risky goal? Because you're taking the risk of rejection. You're taking the risk of putting yourself in an awkward and uncomfortable situation of having to initiate a conversation or carry on a conversation. And in the end, it may not result in a friendship. You might feel judged. You might feel criticized. You might just feel a sense of regret that maybe you humiliated yourself. Those are all good and healthy risks that you can afford to take. None of those things are going to ruin you. None of those things are going to kill you. But the thought of having to initiate a conversation with somebody you don't know and not be able to anticipate where that conversation is going and stay in that conversation and maybe at the end of it not even result in a friendship or even an acquaintanceship, that's risky. What is risky about spending more time with God? It can feel to some people that when you aren't able to pray easily or comfortably, when you're reading the Bible and you have no idea what you just read or what it means, you can feel like you're a fake Christian or that Christianity is beyond you, that you don't have what it takes to be a follower of Jesus Christ. This is for other people, it's not for you. And those are risky thoughts because it could cause you to give up and say, I guess Christianity is not for me because I can't even spend 5 minutes with God. How am I going to spend a lifetime with God? What is risky about one of my students wants to make the speech at graduation? That is a big goal. That is a risky goal because he's going to have to put in extra effort and extra time to stand out from his class so that he is recognizable as a student who is worthy to represent his class and his school at graduation. If he spends the whole year trying to stand out, trying to get qualified to be considered for that speech, and it doesn't work out for him, he might think that he wasted his year trying for this goal that never materialized. Okay, we're not going to get into it here, but that's not true, right? So much has been gained in the process of working toward that goal that, in my opinion, he's already won. Speech or no speech, he is a much better person at the end of all those efforts and all that time than he would be if he hadn't set that big goal. Okay, I hope R makes you excited. R is encouraging you to do something that could fail. It's encouraging you to choose a goal that you need God for achieving. A good goal should cause you to pray. A good goal should cause you to go to Jesus and to ask for help and to rely on Him for strength and to depend on Him. Because as you know, in goal setting, there's a lot of frustration, there's a lot of struggle, and there's failure on the way to achieving a goal. The trick is not to give up, to get back up, to persevere, and to see every day as another chance to take that action in the direction of what you want. Okay, T in S.M.A.R.T.E.R. Let's spill the tea. This is much more straightforward than the R, which was quite nebulous, but the T stands for time keyed and triggered. So time keyed, by when do you want to achieve this goal? The students in my mastermind are using the end of first semester or December 31st, the end of the calendar year, as our deadline. That is the time frame that we are giving ourselves to accomplish the goal that they have set. You need to set a deadline so that you're not working on your goal and building those habits forever. The T for triggered is very helpful because when you are trying to take action, those tiny 1% actions toward your goal, those habits, you want to put into place reminders or triggers that will jog your action-taking muscles and get you to do what you identified in A, under actions, what you are going to do. So some examples of good triggers are the lunch bell at school. If you're trying to make new friends, the lunch bell, once that is heard, means it's time to go talk to somebody. It's time to start a conversation. It's time to step out of my comfort zone and go meet somebody. Another trigger could be literally your phone. You can use the alarm on your phone as a trigger. You can set your alarm to remind you what you need to do at that time. So one of my students is trying to practice her instruments during the week, but also on the weekend. And she could set an alarm on Saturday afternoon. Once it goes off, it's practice the piano. Or another trigger is to literally use a Post-it note, which I love. Use a Post-it note and literally write, do my devotional. Right? This could be on the kitchen table during breakfast. You see that note, you put your devotional book on the breakfast table, and those become the habits to open the devotional book at breakfast. E in S.M.A.R.T.E.R is for exciting. So a S.M.A.R.T.E.R goal is not only risky, it's exciting. And actually the reason you're willing to take some risks in achieving this goal is because the benefits, the gains of taking those risks are exciting to you. So for example, what is exciting about raising your grades, improving your GPA? Maybe it qualifies you for the college that you are trying to get into, or it puts you in the running for valedictorian. Maybe it increases your chances of getting a scholarship to go to college. All worthy goals. What is exciting about spending more time with God? If I can read my Bible, one chapter once a week, pray 4 out of 5 weekdays, the exciting benefit that I will get from that is a comfort and a confidence in my faith that I know I can't get anywhere else. What is the exciting benefit from making more friends, let's say at co-op, in a homeschool co-op? Maybe that will motivate me to go to co-op. Maybe it will motivate me to pay more attention while I'm sitting in my classes at co-op because I have friends there and I'm comfortable there and I'm happy there and I will happily sit through the classes there. Same thing could be said for youth group, right? If you have the goal of making friends at youth group, the exciting aspect of that is I will want to go to youth group. I will show up consistently. I will have a community there and I will pay more attention there. I will learn. I will listen to what is being taught there. And the result is becoming the kind of Christian that I actually want to be. So the E is for exciting. Make sure that the benefits and the gains of your goal are exciting to you. And ask yourself, what is exciting to me about achieving this goal? What are the benefits that I want by achieving this goal? You made it to the last letter, the second R, which is for relevant. Relevant means that the goal you have set makes sense to pursue at this time in the year, at this time in your life. A good relevant goal at the beginning of the school year would be something like making new friends. A good relevant goal for connecting with your parents might be senior year. You only have one more year at home for those of you who plan to go off to college. And senior year is like your last year at home, and you're never going to have that much time with your parents after you leave. So it makes sense to set the goal to connect with mom and dad this year, because next year I won't be here every day. All right, to close, I'm going to give you an example from my own life of a goal that wasn't relevant in a particular season, and then it was. And that example is when my dad was home and he had Alzheimer's disease for like 12 years. And in the final year of his life, which I did not know was the final year of his life, my mom was very busy taking care of him at home. And I did what I could, but I was trying to support my mom emotionally and physically so that she could care for dad, who was completely bedbound and vegetative. I wanted to do what I am doing now, working with middle school and high school students by offering them Christian leadership development. But I wouldn't let myself act on that goal because I knew that if I launched this idea and started working with students and started writing curriculum and, moving forward 100%, that I would neglect my dad. I would neglect the support that I wanted to give to my mom because I know myself. I give 100% to what I have committed to doing. And if I did go forward with the idea in my mind, I wanted to give 100% to it. I wouldn't put in any less, right? So then in 2020, December 2020, my dad declined and did die. And it wasn't until 5 months after his death that I felt, okay, I think now it makes sense for me to go ahead with the idea that I have of working with students and, offering Christian leadership training. And that is when I formed my company and allowed myself to do what I am doing now. I hope that helps you to understand when something makes sense and when something doesn't make sense to do at that time. And some things God is going to ask you to do now, and there are some things that God is going to ask you to wait on. And that is something we need to go to God about and trust Him for. I hope the SMART-ER framework has helped you to put a plan behind your ideas, behind your goals, so that those goals actually materialize and don't just stay in the wish phase and in the idea phase, in the dream phase. We have to put plans behind our goals in order for us to work toward them consistently and in order for us to actually realize them in reality. If you have found value in this video, please share it with somebody who would also benefit from this, and like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.